Redmond.
So I've been going to these Moth Slams for like 2 years, always hoping that I would win so that I could go to the Grand Slam at the Flint Theater. And one time I told a story, and after 9 tellers, I had the top score. And Josie Levitt got up and told this great story and beat me by 0.2 of a point. Another time, there were only 10 names in the bag. After 9 names, I had the top score. And the host said, the 10th person must have left. Anybody want to tell a story? And Julia Lynam raised her hand and beat me by 0.1 of a point. And then 4 months in a row, there were 11 names in that stupid bag, and mine was the only name not pulled out of that bag. So now on the day of the Grand Slam, last October, I wasn't eligible to be in the Grand Slam. But it was also the day my dad, he's 85 years old, lives in Long Island, needed heart surgery. Same day. And his aortic valve had to be replaced. Very risky operation, experimental. In fact, they had to put all the names in the computer of anybody who needed that operation, and only half the names were going to get picked, and his got picked. So instead of going to the Grand Slam, I drove with my wife and son to Long Island, and we got to the hospital, and it was after the operation was over, and it worked. The doctors were like, your dad's going to be okay. The operation worked. So we're there in his room, and my mom is there, my wife and son, and we're happy, we're psyched. And then after a few hours, he got tired. It was lunchtime, so we said, you know what, Dad? We're going to go out and grab lunch. We'll come back. So we went to this Greek restaurant. We're drinking wine. We're celebrating. We're toasting. We're putting pictures on Facebook of us drinking wine. Dad's going to be okay. So we go back to the hospital, and the nurse meets us at the elevator. And she said, your father needs you to be here. He needs you to be here to ground him. So we go in the room, and he's like aggressive and belligerent. He's like, get me out of here. I want to leave here now. And he's got all these tubes. He's tugging at all his tubes, trying to pull his tubes out. And we're trying to calm him. Finally, they put like these white, look like boxing gloves on him so he couldn't get at the tubes. Now he takes his teeth, and he's like ripping these gloves off. My father's a dignified man. He wore like a Brooks Brothers suits every day to work on Wall Street. He's like an educated, dignified person. So finally, the nurse walks in with this long needle, and I said, what's that? And she said, that's Haldol. And I said, can I have some too? So she gives him the shot, and he just goes, bang, he's out. But she said, this isn't going to last forever. You get a couple hours, and then he's likely to be in the same state. Anyway, we all huddled up, my mom, my wife, my son. I said, listen, you guys go home and rest up. I'll stay here. I'll do the overnight with Dad. I don't want him waking up in the middle of the night, confused, frightened, pulling out his tubes and everything. I'll just sit by his bed the whole night. So that's what I did. So he woke up like at 8 or 9 p.m., and man, it was all night long, I didn't get a wink of sleep. He's like, get me out of here. Come on, let me out. Pulling off his blankets. I'm putting the blankets back on. At one point, he goes, Mark, it's 2 o'clock. I go, right, Dad. He goes, in the afternoon, right? I'm like, no, it's 2 in the morning. Please go to sleep. So he finally woke up like at 6 a.m. And he was fine. He was like his regular self, So then a few hours later, my sister came, my brother came, my wife came back. So we're all there with him, and he seems pretty good. And so I finally, after a few hours, I said to my wife, you know what? It's Sunday. Let's drive. We get a long ride. Let's go back to Vermont. And so anyway, I said goodbye to my brother, said goodbye to my mom, and I went up to my dad to give him a kiss goodbye. I said, Dad, we're going to go, but I can come back at any time. And at this point, I'm wondering, does he even remember that I was here all night? But who knows? So I said, goodbye, Dad. I go to give him a kiss. And he looks at me and he says, I adore you, Mark. Now, I'm 58 years old. I've never heard my father say that. So now I know why I lost to Josie Levitt by 0.2 of a point and Julia Lina by 0.1 of a point. And why 4 months in a row my name didn't get picked out of that bag. Because I would have gone to that Grand Slam if none of those things had happened. I wish I was a bigger person than that, but I'm not. But because none of those things happened, I was able to be there for my dad at the point in his life he needed me the most. And I was able to be there to hear him say, "I adore you, Mark. Thank you."